Welcome to
Unrehearsed
Unrehearsed
with
with
the
the
Moors.
Moors. Once again.
Hi.
Hello. What up, y'all?
Episode 5, babe.
Yeah, these things are going quick.
They're
Like
going
I feel like
so
we
fast.
just started this and we have all of these episodes, so that's good. I feel like
it's been so fun with you.
this has been fun. This has been good for me, and if y'all like wonder, like we don't do that, like we're not an independent company or anything. We just doing this because we felt led to share some of our lessons learned and all that to couples and single folks. So I'm happy to do that with my wife, who is here, Ashley, and I'm Brandon, per usual. And we have an interesting episode today. We're just gonna get right to it, man.
My goodness.
This is gonna be something
the
else.
F word,
Yeah,
guys.
the F word.
F word.
What's the F word?
The F word.
Are you saying F me?
No.
Okay.
Never. Not
okay.
Well.
Yeah, whatever.
Not right now.
Anyway.
No, the F word in this instance is the big one. It's finances.
Finances.
Yeah.
Man, this is crazy. Okay, so before we start, we should do some like prefaces. So, number one, we are not experts.
Nope.
You know what I mean? We are not. This is not.
By no means.
By no means are we experts, and we don't claim to know it all.
Absolutely
but
not.
We have learned some things, and they might help you.
Yes.
And number two, everybody starts from a place. We had to start from a place, so this is not to make folks feel a certain way. We're here to just share stories, and hopefully you get something from it. Hopefully you can take something and have some benefit from it. One last preface. There's going to be a lot of information we're going to throw at you. Please check the show notes, because I'm going to have some links in there, and we'll have some other goodies that we'll talk about. So,
yes.
So I don't know. Money. So, okay, let me tell y'all. I want my wife to speak with wisdom, because she's the wisdom lady and I'm the numbers guy. So I want to come in with the.
That's not true. You have so much wisdom.
I'm going to come in with the numbers.
And I'm a numbers person too.
You are, but between us,
yes,
I think that
you're definitely better with numbers.
You have that gift, and I want you to sort of talk about why money matters, and then frame it for us, because I know that this is a very personal topic.
Money is a very touchy subject.
Yeah.
I feel like in every area that I can think of or go back on in my entire life, money is something that is constant.
Yeah.
As long as we are here on this earth.
Yeah, that's real.
We need it to survive. We need it to pay our bills. Yeah. We don't go to work for free.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of is one of those things.
Yeah.
But money can also ruin things.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's one of those crucial conversations.
Oof, yep, that's right.
That you need to have. And we were very fortunate. I think we had been through so much when we met, and our conversations got very deep, very personal, extremely quick. It was definitely no holds bar. I think it was.
Yeah, you told all of Nama how much I make immediately.
I didn't tell all of Nama.
Yes, you did. You were like, you make such and such dollars.
No,
you were right next to them people.
I asked a question. I did ask. What was the second, third date? This is like a third date.
This was our third date.
I think I gave you 3.
You gave me 3. I didn't have a break, fellas, at all. But go ahead.
So I did ask him how much he made. And I did that for a couple of reasons. I'm not a gold digger, but I did that for a few reasons, because I needed to know where he was financially. I knew where I was financially. I knew where I wanted to be financially. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure we were kind of on the same financial wavelength.
Correct. Correct.
Because if you cannot support yourself, I was a mom with 2 kids.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can't help support me or the life that I am currently in if you were unable to support yourself. So it wasn't like, and trust me, guys, he took me shopping on the third date, so I knew he was okay. I knew the man was okay. But you still have to ask these things. I asked how much we asked how much, he in turn asked how much I made. I told him what I made. We talked that night about how much debt each other was in, because no matter how much you make, if you have 50% of that is debt, then you're no better off than anybody else making $40,000-$50,000 if you're making 100K and you have debt over your eyeballs.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we asked all those hard questions in the very beginning, which I think served us very well. We came in knowing exactly what we were getting into.
Yeah, yeah. It's important to know, I mean, whether or not you're interested in being with somebody quote unquote well off is kind of besides the point, right? Finances represent stress, and clarity and communication around finances can either turn the stress dial up or turn it way, way down. Like I think in our case, we really didn't have a lot of stress. Um, um, our stress wasn't amplified; it was actually reduced because we knew exactly what we were trying to get involved in. So, um, what do you think?
I think you're correct. I think it definitely goes back to what's the saying about, the divorces, how many divorces end
Yes,
because of money?
yes,
Like 40% of divorces end because of finances.
yes. And I mean, I want to take time out front just to show you how like sincere we are about this. Like, listen, everybody has money testimonies. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I mean, people that know me know I am divorced, and you know, not managing money makes everything worse. I had a divorce, and I basically, because I kind of had myself together, but in the main scheme of things, you know, I was able to leave, my ex-wife some things that she needed in order to, start her life over. And had I not been, so I mean, the whole point to this is to be as transparent as possible. I had a divorce where I chose to bless my ex-wife, with my home, and that was
Y'all heard it right.
a decision. Yeah, and it was you know
When
this
I
was
heard that, I was like, wait, what?
but here's the thing, right? And I don't say that to leave all my business in the street, but money reveals what it represents in your life, right? Like where your treasure is, where your heart is, right? So I think that when you are attached to money in itself, that is a sin, right? And I was coming out of a time where I was trying to divorce myself from all of the things that had gotten me to that place, and having faith and having a focus on what I knew was important to me, and what I knew was going to train me for the next season was extremely important. I don't know, what's your life testimony with money, Ben?
Oh my gosh. Not good.
Yeah.
Um, I did not come from a healthy relationship with money. My my dad was, the worker, the saver, the bill payer. My mom was the spender. And naturally, being, a girl, you kind of follow in your mom's footsteps. So I became a spender.
Mm.
You know, I didn't know how to save. I didn't know. I got a paycheck and, it was off to, back then I worked at the mall when I was a teenager. It was off to Express. It was off to Limit. They got my checks.
Yeah.
I would have stuff on hold before I would even get paid again because I would go below it so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just grew like that. And even when I started to learn little tidbits and things, my dad would be like, you don't need a credit card because you you're a spender. You'll get in trouble. And I'll be like, okay. So I never had a credit card when I was younger because I was like, oh, my dad always was like, pay stuff with cash. So in my thought, I was doing well because I was paying my bills and then whatever I had
Yeah.
left,
Yeah.
I was spending. But I never understood and never considered, saving for a rainy day, saving for emergencies, making sure I had something to fall back on, putting something up. I would save, but I would save for, the nice shiny purse that I wanted or the pretty pair of shoes. And then I'd save up enough money to get that. But then it was never really like any kind of discipline behind that other than saving enough money to get the great gift that I wanted to get.
So what do you think that,
It
where do you
created
think
a
that revealed about
very
you?
unhealthy relationship
Yeah.
with money. As I got older, as I grew up, I never understood how to manage finances correctly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
No, but it's not even unfortunate, right? And that's kind of the point we want to make in this episode is we all come from money is traumatic by
Yeah.
design, right? It comes like that's trauma in itself. So again, this is not a shaming topic. We want to just set the tone and say, this is about stewardship.
Yeah.
We are when we want to focus on money, what we want to do is talk about stewarding, not just being good people, but stewarding our own dreams, stewarding the things that are important to us, right? And what we will find, especially in this episode, is when our stewardship is aligned with God's, things only get better, right? And that can be in a myriad of ways. So again, this is not a name it, shame it type of episode. We just want to have some convos about kind of where we've come and where we're going to go. I will tell you, I'm very passionate about this topic. I did a lot of work in my MBA in finance, and I'm passionate about healthy families, passionate about financially healthy families, and it's something that's very important to me. So you're going to hear me get on my soapbox. I'm apologizing for myself straight away because, it's something that I have some, experience with. So
I loved one of the notes that you wrote down when we were kind of talking about things and getting ready for this episode. And it was, people don't fight about money itself, but about what it represents.
Absolutely.
And that hit so home to me because, I look at the traumas and things in my past, and it's never been about the money that didn't get spent or did get spent or whatever happened. It was what it represented was basically your heart.
My experience with money really started when I was in college. Let me tell you something. I started out like every other dumb college student. I racked up a ton of credit card debt, ordering pizzas 3 times a week in my dorm room. I mean, I was absolutely just not caring about, oh, this is free money. Well, it's not free money. Okay. So when you take on debt, obviously you are creating a situation where you need to change behavior. Okay. And really, when we talk about managing money, we're not really talking about managing the actual money. We're talking about managing behaviors. And that is why we do
patterns.
Yes, patterns. That's why we do. I've done a system because I had to get myself out of that when I was just coming out of college. I remember sitting in the bank, and I think I had like overdrafted my account like 6 times, and the banker lady was like, I guess she was like a grad student, and she was like, "Oh, this is so wasteful," and it felt like that was my dad, like shaking his head at me, like she gave me like a literal spanking. Yeah, she gave me like a verbal spanking, and I'm so appreciative of her.
Was that your turning point?
That was my turning point. I was like, man, I have to do better as an adult. Like, how do I do this, right?
So you want to hear my turning point?
What's yours?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't even remember how old I was, but I remember my dad was going to the bank with me. He was gonna co-sign for my car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I was like, let's go to the bank and see what I can get, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hyped up because I have been doing what I thought I was supposed to do. I did
Mm-hmm.
not have credit card debt. I had like one credit card that my dad had put me on his basically as a user. And I thought I was doing so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying for stuff cash, all of the above, right? And I'm checking Credit Karma. Why are you laughing at me?
Okay, I'm gonna stop
And
laughing.
I forget what the number was, but I'm hyped because I'm like, I got a six, whatever it was. I don't even remember. It was like a 639, or I don't even remember what the number was. But I'm hyped.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm about to go get this car. My credit cool. Like my daddy, like, let's go to ORNL. So we go to the bank, and the lady knows my dad, and she's talking to us. She invites us in her office, and um, we're all just sitting around talking, and she looks at me, and she runs my credit, and she looks at me, and she goes, "Young lady, you got some work to do." And I'm thinking, what in the world is she talking about? And she goes, "Your credit score is like, it was so bad. It was like a 590 or something. It was pretty bad, y'all." And I'm thinking, what is she looking at? Because Credit Karma says that. And she was like, "Baby, She was like, don't look at that." She was like, "If you really want to know your credit score, you need to be looking at, XYZ or whatever, and really keeping, a look on your credit report. You get
Yes.
a free one every,
Yes. Yes.
she's telling me all the things, and I am
Yes.
just distraught because I felt like I had just been hoodwinked.
Yes. And
So
yeah, I
that was my
totally.
turning point. I was like, oh my God. I just imagine sitting in ORNL thinking you is just like about to get this ride. And then the lady is just like, "No, ma'am." I mean, I still got a car. My dad has excellent credit. Thank you, Lord. But I was able to, learn some lessons and then go from there and start building myself back up.
Yes. Yes. You know what? And I'm proud of you. You came a long way. Um, that was something that I thought very deeply about when we dated. Like, okay, like, I had experience with this thing, and you were very much interested in continuing to build on your journey, and you had things pretty much all together. So it's not like I had to do a lot of work. So I think you have a lot to be proud of. You know what I'm saying? You were in a great place. Um, I'm proud of you. Like, I'm proud of us. So let's talk about systems. I'm a big system person. Uh, I'm gonna get on my soapbox a little bit here because this will be my third time kind of doing this. I did this, like I said, when I was coming out of college, and then I did this in my first marriage, and now we're literally doing this again. So I've had some trial runs with it. Okay, so if you do not know, and if you have not read, um, the best way to get started on like a financial reconciliation is obviously Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace. I actually took a class when I was in my 30s.
I took the same class. I just didn't
And
listen.
that's
I
hilarious. I can't even.
was like, this is good. This is great.
Oh man, that class is very good. I am, and I'm just gonna be straight up with y'all. I am not a huge Dave Ramsey fan, but the math behind this plan is absolutely solid, and so you should not be afraid of.
I think it's one of those things where you have to take the bits and pieces that work for
That's right.
you. All of it may not work for you,
That's
but
right.
there are going to be certain bits and pieces that do work for us.
Yes. The whole idea of Dave Ramsey's method is to change behaviors over math. Okay, and we're going to go through a couple things that we do. These are very concrete things. These are very straightforward. It's not going to take you don't need a finance degree to figure this type of stuff out. Okay, the number one thing in the Dave Ramsey system is that you start with what you have coming in, right? So you have a round number that is your paycheck, wherever that comes from. Okay, so you probably have heard this before. But what we do is we do some pretty advanced things with that. So, for example, a one size fits all method from the financial piece really doesn't fit for all households. One of the things that you may have heard from Dave Ramsey is called the bucket system. Okay, so let me kind of get my professor hat on. So you have a bucket system, and the way Dave describes it is you take a wallet or an envelope system and you actually separate that money out. But that is a
Yeah, that's
very
what I did. That did
nice.
not work for
No,
me.
that
I just
does
went into the other envelope.
exactly. So what we do in this house is we do a bucket system, but we do it with bank accounts.
Yes.
So we structure each account in a certain way. Some accounts have access to other accounts, et cetera. And when we get paid, all of those accounts are split up appropriately according to, again, our behavior, right? So one account that we leave a lot of money in is eating out. We love to eat out. We eat out with friends. We do brunch. You can ask any of our friends at our church. We're always down for brunch. And that's not a bad thing, right? As long as you are telling your money what to do within a structured way. So I would highly recommend as a first step, just go to a credit union. You know, if you have a relationship with a credit union, they will be able to provide you with the amount of accounts you need to actually separate your funds. Separating your funds changes your behavior fundamentally. Why is that? Because it's no longer about how, when is all of these things, how am I going to pay my bills? Let me actually tell you a very huge tip. Banks and large corporations make a ton of money off the assumption that you only have one bank account.
Yes.
The assumption that you are going to overdraft, the assumption that you are not going to accurately balance your checkbook creates billions of dollars for banks every single year. So when you have a structured bucket system in your bank accounts, not only are you lessening the chance of that happening, but you're also structuring what accounts are going to have the most activity coming out. I'll give you an example. We some of our buckets, one of our buckets is a project budget. And that project budget, it's always fluctuating. One part of the year it'll be one thing, the next part it'll be another thing. We actually just had a birthday for Weston, and if you know anything about my boy Weston, he is one of the most high class young men I've ever seen in my life. He will not accept
He likes
anything
the
less than
finer things.
extremely high, nice stuff. So, and we were able to give him a great birthday, not because we had all this money coming out of the sky, but we knew what that was, and we had our bucket open for that. So when it was time for us to go to Atlanta and have a nice dinner and make sure he has all the things that he loves, we were able to do that on time. So that is a different mindset. It's a different behavior to say, in 3 months, I have a 13-year-old who will like nothing less than go to Atlanta and ball out. We're going to ball out, but we're going to do that with cash. We're not going to do that with a credit card. We're not going to stash that money elsewhere. We're not going to create a deeper hole for ourselves. That is the
Yeah.
behavioral change
And here's the
that needs to
thing,
happen.
this is the old mindset versus the new mindset. So, me, before we started doing this, and I started doing this with Brandon, of course, I know when my kids were born, I had them, but mom would, wait until a couple weeks before their birthday and then try to plan everything and try to see how much things cost. And then, looking at when I got paid to see what paycheck am I going to use for this to come out of, and then what else can I move off to the side because I know I have this birthday
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
Now we look at, hey, we know his birthday is in February, Jalen's is in January. We do not get a break. So immediately after we have finished Christmas shopping, which is usually right before the beginning of December, maybe a week or two into December, but immediately after we finish with Christmas, we start saving for their birthdays because we know they're coming. And that's the thing, is when you know you have things coming, you need to be budgeting for them.
Yes. And remember, and this is for my married couples, having clarity about your finances is an investment in your marriage, period. And when we have marriages, I know for a fact that we have many marriages, especially in the church, where we are always sort of grabbing and looking for, well, where is this money going to come from? Using this method, using the bucket system, Dave Ramsey's method, reduces the friction on your relationship. You owe it to yourself to have a plan. And there's some higher level concepts that I want to get into about that. Like, for instance,
let me say this.
no,
Hold on
go
before
ahead.
you start. Reduces the friction. So make sure wherever you go, if you decide to do this bucket system, you guys, we have, I believe, what, 6 cards, 5 cards?
Debit cards?
Debit cards.
We have 6.
So we have 6 debit cards. They are all now labeled because of the credit union on the back of them, which, we switched credit unions to ORNL. And so the lovely people there labeled our cards on the back of them. So they're actually printed on there if it's a grocery card or if it's a gas card or whatever it is. So I love that. The place we were at before did not have that option. So you had just debit cards everywhere. And we just kind of had to have like sticky notes. Well, your girl over here, baby, was losing her sticky notes left and right. So I was in panic using the wrong cards left and right. Okay. And it was getting a little stressful. So I will say, just make sure if you decide to do this, that you have your cards accurately labeled so that it doesn't come out of the wrong account.
Oh man, the hilarity that ensued when we put this system in. I mean,
I would literally be at the checkout counter, like having a meltdown because I'm like, "This is not working. The card's not working." He'd be like, "Which card are you using? What's the last 4 digits?"
And here's the thing, with a bucket system, you almost set your budget automatically, right? Like, one of the things that always was crazy to me about the way my dad handled money was he showed me how to balance a checkbook, and he would literally sit me down in our basement and like go through line by line, and I was like, this is the most inefficient thing I've ever seen.
That's so crazy. I was never showed how to balance a checkbook.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's okay, because today we have so many tools that handle this efficiently. And I'm not talking about, like you said, Credit Karma. Some of that stuff is almost a little bit of a gimmick. But this system, there's ways for you to set alerts. When an account is getting low. There's accounts that you can block from being overdrafted. There are so many more tools that we have that our parents did not have. So it's kind of like, don't hesitate. Get out there and do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, all of these things, and again, going back to Dave Ramsey's financial piece, this is all about telling the money what to do. You create a bucket system, and then you actually implement it by looking and kind of keeping a close eye. And it doesn't take a lot. I mean, I think our financial conversations that we have once a week are like maybe 20 minutes max.
And let me tell y'all what, I actually look forward to these conversations. I used to make so much fun of him, and y'all see me post on social media. Like, I literally be making fun of him low key. But I actually look forward to these conversations because I get to see in real time what we're spending our money on. I get to see, hey, did we eat out too much, or did we overeat out, or did we shop a little too hard, or just kind of where it is all going. Is just super informational, super helpful. Yeah. And what I love about it, my very, very favorite part, is I get to see our debt snowball grow. I get to see the things that we're paying off left and right.
That's right.
And that makes me so happy.
So that's a great segue. I mean, so we have the bucket system, which then leads into what we call the debt snowball. And you can look it up. It's pretty simple, but to break it down, it's just a way to compound the reversal of your debts. So I want to get into a very nuanced topic, and this is a little bit from grad school, but just follow me here. So banks make money on interest. So interest is the compounding interest that comes into the bank from you holding their money. It's just money rental cost, okay? The opposite, and we're gonna get into this a little bit later. The opposite of bank interest is investment interest. So how do you fight? How do you fight debt interest? You get rid of your debt and then you invest. And then we'll talk about investing a little bit later. There'll be other resources. But the way we fight debt is through the debt snowball. And I have a spreadsheet, and I think we talked a little bit earlier about goodies. I will link a copy of this spreadsheet into our show notes. It's basically been with me since I was 34, and I've basically worked on it for around 6, 7 years. It pulls in uh, our income information. It shows us the budget, and then it actually shows you a debt snowball to say, okay, this is what you have that can be used to reduce your debts. We use it every single week. I think it's one of the most used spreadsheets that we have.
Yes.
And I will link that. If you DM me, I will absolutely provide you.
It is bomb.com,
yes,
y'all.
Thank you.
I will say that is, I actually told him earlier today, we were talking about some things that we're getting ready to do that I'm super excited about. And I said, doing money with you, talking about money with you is actually fun. Talking about finances with you is actually fun. Yeah. I remember in previous relationships that I would talk about money and it was like an automatic an automatic argument, because it was a stressor, such a stressor, because it was either coming out of your account or it was either coming out of my account, or who didn't have it, or when do you get paid?
Yeah, for sure.
What are we going to do? And this is too, like, it was just craziness. And, this just really eliminates all of that.
It does.
And let me go ahead and say this. If you are a married couple and you are not sharing a bank account.
Oh, man. Oh, boy.
Before we were even married, I told Brandon, I was like, I hope you're taking we actually joined our bank accounts before we were married. I knew he was my husband. I knew God sent me him, and I trusted him with everything. And, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. He makes more money than me. So if anybody was going to run off with anything, it wasn't going to be him. Okay? So I had no fears in going ahead and combining our finances. But that was one of the big things for me, because here's the other deal. When you are not good with money, and I wasn't, and I knew I was not taught correctly how to manage my money. Why fight that when you have someone who does it better?
Wow.
I think I told you immediately. I was like, you're going to be the one over our stuff. I know you're great with finance. Like, you take it, handle it, work it out.
Yeah.
And as soon as we started building together, it was just like smooth sailing. As soon as we started these financial talks, as soon as we started working the spreadsheet and the debt snowball, like, it was kind of like such an immediate shift in our relationship, and in our marriage, because that is one thing. We have our little spouse fights and arguments like any other couple, but I can tell you one thing, baby, it is not over money. It is not over money. Okay. We are both in agreement with where our money goes. We are both in agreement with working this system. We tell each other when we're about to make, large purchases, we have to okay those through one another. And usually, at the end of the day, it's really probably a big purchase between us if we're spending a lot of money, if I'm honest.
And let me throw this in here too for the fellas, because I had a lot of my boys who have matured now, but I think when we were younger, we had a very huge misconception. Because money reveals where your heart is, there should be no ceiling within responsibility as to what you can pour into your marriage. Meaning, if y'all are doing all of this and you are not spending money on what is your wife's love language, there's a problem. Okay, so I know my wife's love language is gifts. That's a big part of her love language. I have committed myself to a jewelry journey with my wife. And listen, that has nothing to do with just having her draped out and, flashy. It has everything to do with saying, since money reveals where my heart is, let me put my money where my mouth is and actually
Yeah.
pour into my marriage, right? And that's important here. Doing the money together is important, but as husbands, we have to steward our families, and if you have to put things in the right order. God, your wife, your family appropriately. So I just want to throw that in there because it doesn't let the fellas off the hook. You have a responsibility to steward your marriage financially in a way where you take care of business and you're able to bless your wife. I just want to throw that out there.
Amen.
So,
And let me just say another thing too. I'm saying a lot of little another things, aren't
yeah.
I? I joke with some of my girlfriends. I'm like, I gotta, I need my allowance for my husband or whatever. Like, it's a joke. He really does give. He doesn't give me an allowance. We have
Yeah.
part of that goes in what is called Ashley's allowance from our paychecks.
Yes.
And obviously I spend whatever I want to on any, but I mean, I like to have a part of that actually be in our budget, because if you don't tell your money what to do and where to go, you'll just spend.
Yes. Correct.
And that is definitely one thing I have learned. And so I have a beauty budget. I have an allowance budget. I have a couple of budgets in there that have different amounts that kind of go into them. So your girl is well taken care of. I don't have to beg and plead or do anything, And I think that's one of the common misconceptions too, is if I give him my money, I'm going to have to ask for these things. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
That's real.
If your husband is following and leading the way that he should be through God, you don't have to beg and plead. I don't ask for anything.
True.
If I need my hair done, if I need my nails done, I go get these things done. None of this stops because we are having a joint account. None of this stops because he's the one over our money. It just makes things better.
I've had, and this is the other thing. This is a generational impact of money. Our kids have seen us be extremely responsible with money, and they've been better for it. I think that.
Oh my gosh,
Jalen has a completely different view.
Oh my God, my spender child.
Yeah,
my spender child. Okay, has stacks on stacks on. Let me just tell y'all, homegirl she is so frugal now. She is so frugal.
Yeah.
I had to literally get on her and be like, okay, you got to start buying like some of your beauty products because like you just stacking. Yeah. But I am extremely proud of her because you know what? She was that kid. Like you gave her $1. Somehow she spent $1.50. I don't know. She just asked you to pay the rest, put the rest with it.
Yeah.
She was that kid.
Yeah.
And to see her now be a working young adult and saving the way that she is and making herself budget, and that's what she was like, I do have to kind of, make sure I'm leaving myself a little room the other night when we were going to dinner. She was like, because I got to have some money for fun and stuff like that. Because homegirl is so serious about the saving journey. And I love that for her.
Yeah. And that's just an example, right? Like we're not just talking about money for yourself. I mean, it is for yourself. It is for your marriage. It is for your family's well-being. But it is the generational impact.
Yeah.
Of stewarding money correctly changes generations down the line. People, who will just know you as great-great-great-grandma, great-great-great-granddad will benefit from you making these decisions now. So I just want to throw that out there. Like
I always said I wanted to be the type of person that had things to leave my finances, to leave my grandkids.
That's right.
My kids and my grandkids.
Yeah. And
this is the way you do that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I want to say something very controversial, and it's actually not controversial, but I believe it is the foundation of how I approach money. Passion is not expensive. Mm-hmm. So if you know me, you know what my passion is. I'm a musician through and through. It is planted in my spirit. It's a gift from God. And if you ask my wife how much money we spent initially on the music, I think I threw her for a loop. She was like, "Oh my goodness, every other month there's something new coming in here." But in the last year, we probably maybe spent $60 on music stuff.
Yeah.
And that is because when you are investing in things that are assets,
yeah,
those things pay you back, right? So going back to the whole investment thing, when you invest in yourself, for instance, a gym membership pays you back. A vacation pays you back. Why? Because you spend time for your family. Having an investment account pays you back. The things that will pay you back in the long run will not extract that much money from you. And that is the prioritization that comes after you change your behavior. You got the right behaviors. Now it's time to get the right priorities. And when you set those things in motion, that's when God could really, really, really move. And I can tell you, I'm not ashamed in the game. I got well over $10,000 in music equipment up in here, but I haven't spent that money. I haven't spent anything like that now that my passions are satisfied. So I just want to throw that out there. Like,
well, my passions are not satisfied, and I like a little pocketbook every now and then, and not like a little jewelry.
But you know what though? No, that's real. let me tell you. And again, I'm talking to the fellas. You know, I remember when I was in my 20s, they used to call it tricking off. So if you actually spent money on your lady in any meaningful way, you were tricking off. Meaning you didn't really need to spend the money. Yeah, this was a thing. So you didn't really need to spend the money because it was one of those wide by the cow and you get the milk for free type of deal.
Oh my God.
So that was the thing, especially my Chi-Town folks know you were tricking off. Oh man, you lame, you tricking off. But here's the thing. When we went to New York, that was one of the funnest parts for me, was taking you to the Louis store and just doing,
definitely one of the funnest parts for me.
The Louis, that was so much fun. Yo, first of all, listen, my wife is a fashionista. I know a lot of y'all ladies think you got fashionista. It's in her veins. It's her thing. Okay. And I just like nice things. I mean, she introduced me to this thing. I love it. And we went to the Louis store and we had the Louis experience. And it was something that I would have never done in myself. But because of my wife, now I'm exposed to this new experience. I'll never forget that. The food was outstanding. And everywhere you go, everywhere, they got these purses that are like, what, $5,000 here, $20,000 here. It was insane. But I had a blast. Because... And I got a new wallet. Yes, she did get, yes, she got a new wallet. Goodness gracious. But anyway. He was sweating bullets, y'all. He never knew a wallet. He thought he was going to TJ Maxx. Lord Jesus. I was like, where's the layaway section in Louis? There's no layaway in Louis. That's all I'll say about that. So, but yes, I mean, prioritization leads to those type of experiences. If you'd have told me 6 years ago you're going to be having tea in the Louis store, enjoying your time with your wife, I'd have been like, you tripping. But when we have our priorities aligned, that's when God can move and show us really special things. So I thank you for showing me that experience. You know, I really, really appreciate it. So I want to touch on a few things here, really just some quick tidbits that will help you as we get ready to close here. Again, I want to just review, get the Dave Ramsey book. A financial piece. There should be some workbooks. Again, I will link that. This is not a promo for Dave Ramsey. I'm just somebody who used the system and gained a lot from it. There's another book that I want to introduce folks to, and it's called Getting Things Done by David Allen. This is not a money book per se, but it's an organization book that will help you deal with some of the changes that come as you start to change your priority. One of the things that happens when we change our behavior with money is some parts of our life become more difficult. Some parts of our life become more manual. So this book, Getting Things Done by David Allen, I swear by it. I gave it to Jalen. She read it. It will help you organize your life and make things smoother as you make this adjustment. And then lastly, I want to just shout out Knowing Your Why by Ken Costa. So why are we talking about all of these money issues? Number one, it's because we want y'all to have successful marriages, successful relationships, and to live, your best outcome under God. Having your why helps you find that passion. Having your why helps you find the things in your life that will pay you back as opposed to the things that will just take from you. So again, that will be in the liner notes. So as we close, what are some immediate things that you want people to take from this podcast?
Oh my goodness. Be honest with yourself about where you are in your financial journey. You can only break the cycle if you're going to be honest with where you are.
Yeah, for sure.
Make yourself a plan of how you're going to get out of it and how you're going to get on the right track. Stay consistent.
Yes.
Hold yourself accountable. I would say immediately go to your credit union, go to your bank, and see how you can get started.
Yeah, yeah. I think that that's a great first step. I think um, splitting your accounts is a
Yes.
huge first step because it helps you to sort of create the funnels and systems necessary. I think that everything else kind of falls in line after you do that step. I also think even if you just need a realignment, check out those books that we gave in the show
Mm-hmm.
notes. They will help you sort of identify some places where you might need changes. I want to add one more book before we leave. I just want one more book. It's called Crucial Conversations. You talked about it.
Oh yeah.
You talked
That
about the
is,
whole
yeah,
having conversations
that is the
about
good
money
book.
boundaries, and really that requires some strategic conversations. A crucial conversation is an awesome one. So I just
Yes, it
want to throw that
is.
out there. So that's pretty much the steps.
And check out the spreadsheet, you guys. It has really, really helped us. It's going to be linked below. It's free. Hopefully, you guys will understand how to use it. If not, we'll, be happy to
You trying to say my
share.
spreadsheet's too complicated? That's hilarious.
No, it's not. It's really easy, but I'm
Okay,
just
yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah.
if they have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our goal here is to just help you guys or whoever listens to this get to a healthy relationship with your money
That's right.
at the end of the day.
That's right. Wow, that was a podcast, man. We did some work on this one.
That was fun,
But
babe.
it's always fun doing money. It's always fun talking money because you get to talk dreams once you talk money.
That's right.
And we are thankful that we're able to reach out to y'all and speak to y'all, and thank y'all for listening. And we will absolutely catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.